This is a PSA for all game designers. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Toasty's Tabletop. Now, as you all know, I am designing my own TTRPG, The Game of Contracts, and in doing so, I need some art. And you saw my work for the Draw Steel Android. I'm a bit of an illustrator myself. Theoretically, I could fill all of the books with my own illustrations and artwork, but Tom Bloom I am not. And in order to get this project out in any reasonable time frame, that just really isn't a reasonable option for me, along with all of the other stuff I'm doing in my life. Nor is generative AI, from the massive ecological impacts, the erosion of trust about what can be viewed as real and authentic and not, and as well as the integrity of myself as an illustrator and my support for fellow other creatives and artists in the field, simply not an option. But while I've been working on this project, I've been doing a good deal of research and reference gathering and things of that nature. And in my journeys, I stumbled across this painting. A very cool image of a woman with a cauldron of something or other, a neat knife, drawing a magical circle, perhaps, of protection around herself. A very, very awesome painting, very thematic, kind of exactly the flavor of what I'm trying to get across in the Game of Contracts. And I thought, dang, that's an awesome painting. It fits so well with what I'm envisioning this project to be, but I bet I can't afford it. And I thought a little bit more. And I thought, maybe it would be worth it. Maybe as a centerpiece that ties the whole project together, I can get a commercial license to use this painting in the project, and then I could feel really good about having this awesome centerpiece artwork out there. And so I did. I looked at a couple of sites that were offering commercial licenses for this painting. I even asked to get a quote from a couple of them. And I took a closer look. If the exposure will allow for it. This is Study for the Magic Circle by John William Waterhouse, painted in 1886. Now that is very good news for a couple of reasons. Reason the first. I'm setting my game in the Victorian era. So something painted in the late 1800s is spot on, not only for the subject matter in this case, but for it being a period accurate piece that would actually exist in the world that I am portraying in this game. That's awesome and was truly just total happenstance. The other part of this that's really good news. This was painted almost 150 years ago now. And the thing about that is, depending on where you live, that's probably public domain. Now, learn the copyright laws of your country, but for most of them, I think the upper limit of before things go into the public domain is 100 years after the author has passed. So we're well within that kind of wheelhouse, especially with Mr. Waterhouse's works in question. But that's not the only part of the story. It gets a little bit more complicated than that. Again, depending on where you live, check the laws in your country. A photograph, a reproduction, a scan of an existing work may in fact be its own copyrighted work and not simply the original public domain. Photographs are in some cases considered I mean, well, in many cases are considered copywritten, but a reproductive photograph like this can also be considered its own copyrighted work, depending on where you live. So there are places offering commercial licenses for this painting out there. Decided to do a little bit more digging, because there are purveyors of public domain works out on the internet as well. And after a while, I found a couple of them. And then I found a couple more. And I realized, wow, there's a lot of really awesome works of art that are totally free to use, as long as you know where to get them, that are just kind of floating out there in the ether. So I wanted to share some of the resources that I found, in case you need some really cool art for your TTRPG projects as well. Now, for painting like this, I eventually found it available on a site called artv.com. And that is a great site full of a bunch of public domain work. I believe it's all public domain. It might not be. Make sure to double check. Each piece that you click on is explicitly labeled with the license it has. And for free, they offer a decently high resolution piece for download. Something that's good enough for a digital release. But if you pay a little bit more for their monthly subscription fee, you get a very high resolution piece of image to download that is much more suitable for something like print or even posters or something of that nature. And that is a great resource to look into. For me, I'm planning only for this to be a digital release, so I'm totally fine getting the slightly lower resolution, but still good enough for digital pieces for free. But if you're looking into a print release, their monthly subscription might be worth checking out. I do not believe that they require an active monthly subscription to use their art in a commercial capacity, but do not quote me on that. Double check their policies just to make sure you're not accidentally infringing on their terms of service. But either way, a very cool resource for mostly painting, some illustrations and sketches and things of that nature as well. Pretty easy to find a variety of things depending on what you're looking for. And they have a tag system with various collections designated by theme as well. Then there is also oldbookillustrations.com. This one's really straightforward. It's a bunch of old book illustrations. All of them are explicitly in the public domain, and this is a great resource for a bunch of black and white illustrations, sketches, wood engravings, lithographs, things of that nature. And pretty straightforward, again, pretty high resolution images as well. And they also a lot of these were in magazines and books and things of that nature. So we'll often also list the source of the magazine or book that it appeared in, as well as the author, which is just kind of a nice piece of provenance to it all as well. Or if you want to look for other art pieces in a similar style, looking through a certain publications collection could be a good resource for that as well. The last one is also an extremely good source, but it's a little bit trickier to navigate. This is the Flickr Commons project. A massive database of a bunch of public domain artwork available in high resolution, and it's really, really good, but to get going, it takes a little bit of work. So once you Google the Flickr Commons, that's the easiest way to get to it, I think. And you get to the site, you'll notice in the search bar, there's a little blue tag that says the Commons. Make sure that's always in the search bar. If it ever disappears, it means you're not in the Commons project anymore, and you're in just all of Flickr, which is mostly non-public domain stuff. So be really careful there and do your due diligence. Once you're there, though, you can enter in the search term of your choice, for example, London, and you'll get a bunch of photos. which maybe that's what you want. If you want photos, great place to find them. The other sources I listed so far, no photos. So if you want photography, fantastic place to look for that. If you want other photography, it's also there, but it's a little bit hidden. You'll notice in the top right, there's an advanced filters button, and you can click that, and there's a little drop down named content. By default, only photography and videos are selected. I don't know why that's the case. That's just how they do it. What you'll also want to click is illustration/art, and then you might have to refresh your search as well, but you'll be able to get all of the stuff that you're looking for in a massive repository. This Commons project has over 100 different museums, libraries, universities, all contributing to make this massive database of public domain works. And it's very well indexed. It's very searchable. It's probably one of the more potent search things I've been able to use compared to the other two. I was able to get a lot more specific in what I was looking for and get results just due to the massive amounts of stuff in this library compared to the other two kind of more specialized websites. But these aren't the only 3 public domain sites out there. There's plenty of others as well. So I want you to let me know in the comments below. How do you find cool public domain art for your projects? Because I'm just one person, and these are 3 sites that work for me. I'm sure other people have other sites that work for them, but the more options people have and the more knowledge is spread about this resource, the cooler we can all make our projects. So please let me know. And if you found this tip useful and want to use some pretty cool art, and this inspired you to go looking, then please give the video a like, because it really helps me out. And if you want to continue the contracts development process and have more tips and tricks about designing TTRPGs, because I've learned so much about the design process, and I plan to make a lot more videos regarding that and my trials and tribulations breathing some life into the game of contracts, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I'll be continuing to document that for sure. And until next time, peace!